Hi there, I'm Donna Cardenas with Atlanta Communities. Welcome to the Find Your Home in Atlanta YouTube channel. I've been helping buyers and sellers since 1995, and with a mostly referral-based business, I find that it's important to educate and advise my clients so that they can make the best educated decision possible. With that in mind, I've committed to presenting more videos in 2023 to help educate you. I'm going to be presenting a series of videos taking you from the contract to close process, which would include any of the various inspectors that you might need or closing attorney. This series is based in Georgia, so here we do use closing attorneys, but in some other states you use title companies. What you just need to do is speak with your agent and see how the information that I'm presenting can work with your situation there. If you don't have an agent, I'm happy to refer you to an experienced agent there. I am part of a nationwide network. So today I have brought my lender, Johnny McCollum with Movement Mortgage, and I'm just going to ask him a few questions that I feel like probably everybody wants to know these days, and we'll go through that. So welcome, Johnny. Thank you for joining
Donna.
us.
I was when I got the email about doing this, I was really excited. I appreciate the opportunity, and I hope that what we talk about today can help your clients become homeowners. So yeah, what questions do you have?
So I would like to point out that Johnny has been in business for a bit, and that brings with him experience and knowledge, which is really important when you are working with a lender because, as you'll see with some of the questions, there's so many different variables that enter into this process. So one of the most probably important topics that is on everybody's mind these days is, in fact, interest rates. So what can you tell me about what we're hearing?
Interest rates, us as a society have been kind of spoiled over the last several years with interest rates in the 2s and 3s. There's no guarantee that they'll ever go back to that. They did go up a good bit last year. As of today, they're down about a full point from their peak in late 2022. The Consumer Price Indexes came out, which is how they judge inflation. Inflation is coming down, trickling down a little bit. And so, right now interest rates are anywhere from high 5s to low 6s, which is a lot better than the 7s that they were, earlier this year.
Right. So I bought my first home in 1995 and it was 7.5, and I was excited because they had been higher. So
Yeah.
It's really not about what we're hearing on the news. It's just
don't listen to the media. Talk to a professional. Give me or Donna a call. Rates historically rates are still good right now. They're just not what we're used to seeing, in past years.
So probably another question that I get often with first-time home buyers or someone that hasn't been hasn't bought in a long time is about credit. What does my credit score have to be? How much down payment do I need?
Credit scores matter regardless of interest rates or program you're going to be going on, whether it be conventional or USDA. High credit scores open up opportunity. There's no other way to put it. Down payment assistance programs work better with higher interest rate, higher credit scores. Higher credit scores even get your homeowner's insurance lowered. They even affect the insurance. If you're not where you need to be with credit, I can help get you a plan together. I have a simulator where I can hypothetically change things on your credit profile to find out the fastest, cheapest way to get your scores to where they need to be. And sometimes just paying down a credit card a couple $100 can make a 50-point difference in your credit score and then open up more opportunity for you.
So that would make sense then, that you don't want to wait to the last minute to start talking to a lender. You want to go in advance, well in advance, sit down with your lender. If your credit score does need some help, it is definitely sounds like something you can help with.
Absolutely. Every buyer's situation is different. So some people, it may take a little while longer. I close people that I've worked with for up to a year and a half that came in with no credit, and then they had to build their credit score and then also get some depth to their credit, because depth of credit matters too. And so absolutely, the quicker you talk to a lender, the better, because sometimes it takes a plan, and then but you never know. A lot of people will call me, I don't think I have good credit, and I'll pull their credit and they qualify right away. So, it's always better to ask first.
And I'd like to take this time to point out something that probably buyers and sellers don't always necessarily think about when you're in that process. I'm sure you would agree, don't do anything. Don't apply for any bank accounts. Don't go buy a car. Don't go buy a wash. Anything that possibly could pull your credit, check with your lender first, because
Yes.
even employers pull credit.
Well, I'm sure employers do pull credit, but yes, I have a flyer that is we call it a deal killer, and I email it to all my clients and say, don't do this. There's a few things that you do not do. Don't go deposit a lot of cash in the bank. Don't go buy a new car. If you're saving money for the down payment, don't live off your credit cards, because that's hurting you in the
Right.
long run. Credit scores and credit card balances are almost like a scale. When one goes up, one goes down. So, that's why it's always best to talk to that lender and get a plan together, because some little things that you don't think matter.
And do they always need 20% down?
No. There's a program here in Georgia called USDA. It is a geographically restricted program, which means it's only available in certain areas, but it's a zero down. And you do have your closing cost and prepaids to take care of, but a lot of times seller contributions which that's your, in
Right.
the negotiations of the contract. But if you are able to get those seller contributions, they can pay for your closing cost with a USDA loan.
So that's actually my next question. Let's switch gears just a little bit to the seller. As a seller, maybe the home has been sitting on the market just a little bit. What are some things that I can do to maybe elicit an offer?
Well, as a seller right now, if you want to give if you're okay with giving some seller credits, with movement, we offer what's called a 2-1 buy down, to where, and this works with FHA loans, conventional loans, or USDA loans. And basically, your seller credits, if the buyer has their down payment, then or has their cash to close, then they can take that seller credit and put it in what's called a 2-1 buy down, which is an escrow account that the seller contributions go into. The first year, the buyer's payment is based on two interest rate points less than their locked-in rate. The second year, their payment is based on one interest rate point less than their locked-in rate. So, and the difference in that payment comes from that escrow account that the seller funded.
Okay.
And then if the buyer refinances before that 2-1 buy down is over, them funds go towards the closing costs for the refi. So not only is the seller helping the buyer in the purchase, they could possibly be helping the buyer in the refinance a year or a year and a half down the road.
Okay. So from the buyer's perspective, in addition to a lower payment because of the lower interest rate, what other benefits, what other reasons would they choose that over, say, just asking for closing cost or even a reduction in the sales price?
Well, the buyer could take the seller contributions and buy down the interest rate and get a lower rate for the 360 months of the loan. But if there's any plans on them refinancing, if they feel like the rates may drop, then why would the buyer want to buy down the rate for a full 360 months when they're going to be refinancing in 24?
Right.
Because they're throwing away the money for the other 28 years. So financially, if they plan on refinancing, financially it's smarter for the buyer to take them funds and put it in the 2-1 buy down versus towards their closing cost if they have their closing cost.
Okay. So actually, that's perfect, because my last question is, as a buyer, if I'm listening to the news and based on what you've just said, should I wait or should I go ahead and buy?
Go ahead and buy. You're not married to that interest rate. You're not married to that mortgage, but you are married to the price you pay for that home. And homes, as you know, you're a real estate specialist, and home values are your specialty.
Right.
And as you know, rates are home values are still on the rise every year, and that's not going to change because of inventory. With that being said, I would buy now, and then hopefully rates go down. But if not, historically rates are still not that bad.
Right.
Like you said, your first rate was in the
7.5.
a 7. Mine was 8.75. My first house in 1996.
Right.
So,
And the home prices, of course, have gone up since then.
yes, and you're not married to the mortgage, but you are married to the price you pay for that home.
Right.
I did a rent versus purchase comparison with someone just 2 weeks ago, and in I think it was 60 months, they will have paid $110,000 in rent, but yet they would have paid down their principal. I think it was $40,000, and then in 60 months, plus the appreciation over the 60 months that the home has gained.
Right.
So the way that they're gaining value is by purchasing, not renting.
Right, right.
Or
So
wealth.
if anybody that's listening today has more questions, would like to know more, or is ready to get started, how can they reach you?
Just give me a call, 770-546-8491. And my email address is johnny.mccollum@movement.com. Or you can just Google Johnny McCollum at Movement, and normally it takes you right to my application.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again for joining us, Johnny. I really appreciate the knowledge and the information. And come back next week. We will be interviewing one of the inspectors that we use on our team. And if you like what you've heard today, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so that you'll be notified when we drop the next video. Thanks, and see you next time.
Thank you for the opportunity.